13. This is breaking news.
We begin tonight with breaking news on a story that we've been covering for months. Authorities in Chelan County believe they have found the remains of Travis Decker. He's accused of kidnapping, then murdering his 3 young daughters earlier this summer. According to the sheriff's office, the human remains have been located in a remote wooded area south of town of Leavenworth. While positive identification has not yet been confirmed, preliminary findings suggest the remains belong to Travis Decker. So we've been following this case for months, and a lot has developed since the girls were first reported missing. Now, let's take a close look at the timeline. Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia went missing after a planned visit with their father on May 30th. Authorities were called in after Decker failed to return the girls for a planned event the following day. On June 2nd, investigators found Travis Decker's pickup truck abandoned and with bloody handprints that resulted to be his. This was near the Rock Island campground in Chelan County. The girls' bodies were discovered nearby. The search for their father began in earnest with the tip 2 days later of a sighting in Idaho that went nowhere. On June 5th, authorities announced a full closure of the encampments and areas surrounding Icicle Creek. And on June 20th, a memorial was held for the girls in Wenatchee. This was the first time we heard their mother, Whitney Decker, speak about her beloved girls. On July 5th, the search for Decker moved into Idaho's Sawtooth National Forest that would be eventually debunked after a lookalike came forward and those search efforts began scaling back. On August 5th, another tip, this time near the Pacific Crest Trail in Snoqualmie, but nothing was ever found. On August 23rd, a full shutdown of the area surrounding the Rock Island campground began. The FBI bringing in skilled and trained personnel for a grid search spanning a quarter-mile from the campsite. On August 28th, investigators revealed bones were actually found near the area. They were tested, but eventually linked to be those of an animal. That brings us to tonight. Sheriff Morrison confirming what he believes are now Decker's remains.
But the feeling keeps kicking in.
Live from Fox 13, this is breaking news.
We begin tonight with breaking news in a story that we've been covering for months. Authorities in Chelan County believe they found the remains of Travis Decker. He's accused of kidnapping, then murdering his 3 young daughters, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, earlier this summer. According to the sheriff's office, the human remains were located in a remote wooded area south of the town of Leavenworth. While positive identification has not yet been confirmed, preliminary findings suggest the remains belong to Travis Decker. I just finished speaking with Sheriff Mike Morrison. Here is that full interview. Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison joining me now. Thank you, Sheriff, for taking the time to give us the latest on this case. And I think there are many questions that we have right now. Specifically, what led you to this area where those remains were found? How far is this from the Rock Island campground?
Well, as we mentioned before at the previous searches, we were going to continue to do what we needed to do. Last week, we had Washington State Patrol and our detectives out. This week, we had the U.S. Marshals Service, FBI, Border Patrol, our detectives continuing to do searches as we promised we would until we find Travis Decker.
You mentioned that this was an area south of Leavenworth. Had this area not been searched before? I think the last time you and I spoke, you talked about there potentially being another search, a 4th search happening and scheduled for this month. Was this part of that already planned search when you guys found these remains?
This was.
Can you share a little bit about what the state of the remains is? Given the condition of those remains, can you tell how long Travis Decker was on the run?
We had severe decomposition. We also had spread of the remains, which is consistent with animals getting into it, which we figured we would find if we were at this point of the search.
I think I want to ask you again, where exactly and how far were the remains found from the Rock Island campground, specifically where the bodies of Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia were found?
Yeah, and I apologize. My connection's not the greatest, but we're about 0.74 miles away from the initial crime scene, right around an elevation of about 4,000 feet. So it was still outside of the initial 3 search areas that we conducted earlier throughout the summer, and this was just an expansion of the search area.
So this was not part of the first initial 3 searches that you conducted with the U.S. Marshals and again with the FBI.
Correct. This was just an expansion. Initially, we did the first one with Washington State Patrol's Crime Lab and also with our detectives. The second one was with the U.S. Marshal Service, some volunteers, and some of our Forest Service deputies, along with other volunteers. And then our final one was with the FBI and, of course, the U.S. Army's intelligence agency.
Some of the information that you guys have already been sharing online is that preliminary.
Ooh, U.S. Marshal military. Wow.
Information leads you to believe that this is in fact Travis Decker. What is the certainty of that? What indicators did you guys find?
We won't know for sure until tomorrow. I've already worked with our detectives in the Washington State Patrol's Crime Lab. We're going to rush some results over there. We're asking to see if we can get DNA returns by the end of tomorrow. But we do feel pretty confident that there's a high probability this is him, just based off the clothing, some other personal items that we found on scene. But again, we're not going to say for 100% certainty until we get the results back.
Is there anything that may imply what the motive was in this case for the kidnapping and the murder of his 3 young daughters?
Same as I said before, it's irrelevant. It was a heinous act. We're certainly continuing to keep Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia in our thoughts and our prayers. That's what's been motivating us up to this point. Already been in touch with Whitney and her family, letting her know that we had made the find today, and they knew that we weren't giving up. We encourage our community to continue to support us, and we understand people's frustration, but again, it just wasn't in our DNA. We continue to do the search, and this is why you continue to do it.
I want to ask, we've talked time and time again about how vast and dense and especially how popular this area is for many people, not just locals, but tourists as well. Chelan County has great acreage, people who come out for recreational purposes. Is there going to be any impact now that these remains have been found?
Yes, for the time being, we've got road closures in place. We have our units on the ground in addition to our federal partners that are also assisting us, and we'll continue to process it fully.
You know, it kind of makes sense to me because no one's seen hide or hair of him. So he must have retreated into the remote area. And whether maybe he didn't have enough food, I don't know, maybe he offed himself or whatever, but they found him. I imagine somebody hiking out there found him or whatever, but hey, another one bites the dust, right? Well, that's good. Let's listen to the end of this.
Completely. The criminal investigation is still our primary focus. We've been in touch with our prosecutor's office already today and some of our neighboring agencies and partnering agencies, just advising them of our discovery. And we'll continue to do what we need to do to ensure this is handled appropriately and properly. But again, we didn't give up, and we're glad with the results we found so far, and hopefully we get some closure tomorrow.
Do you know what the next couple days will look like? I know that this has got to be giving you, and not just Whitney, the family, but the entire community of Wenatchee and Chelan County, some sense of closure.
Is getting us one step closer. We've been looking to serve justice for a while and for the law to prevail. And if we get the results we're looking for tomorrow, I believe those are the results we'll find.
Thank you so much, Sheriff. I appreciate you taking the time to break down the latest on this Travis Decker investigation.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Have a good evening.
On my travels.
All right, there you go, folks. Possibly Travis Decker found in a remote area. Excuse me. And another one gone. And another one gone. Another one bit the dust. But at least we can move on to more stuff like rounding up these Summer Wells people and all them people, everything. I guess they want them all. I don't know what kind of racket or whatever that case is, but I don't know. You know, like I said, I did a couple videos on it. We've been watching it for many, years now, a couple years now. And interesting, like I said, I don't know who they are or what they do, but they're on the radar. So, Debbie, what do you think about this? Debbie's happy. She said she knew that they wouldn't find the coward alive. And that's what I think. He was complete garbage. Well, um, I would have to say so, but that's what it is in America. Is what are we finding? People killing their own children or whatever over stupid stuff. You know? But I think the government stepped in to people's private lives just a little bit too much with all this, and they seen an opportunity where they can make money with this uh, court system or whatever. And if they can make $1, they won't. An easy dollar. So it's just crazy. Should have never came to that, but it did. And he probably figured, knowing them, a lot of these people, they brought them into the world and they can take them out. Maybe I don't really know what his mental state was. Obviously, way worse than what I could ever be. But that's what he might have actually thought. It was his daughter, and he was, he brought her into the world, or brought them into the world, and he was going to leave with them. And that's what he might have done. I mean, we really don't know. Cowardish way, but pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. So I got a message. I was over there watching some of the summer stuff. And yeah, I think it's all collapsing around them. I think that whole case is just crumbling around them. And be safe over there, folks, in that community over there. All right, on to the next case. Well, I think they're doing a great job. And like I said, it makes sense because no one's seen this guy anywhere. And usually when no one's seen this guy or heard from him or anything, there's only two options. Either he offed himself, died of starvation or whatever, or he jumped country. He jumped on a plane and got out of here. Now, we don't know for a fact that that's him. All they know is they found a body and some clothing that fit this is, what he was wearing or had. So we'll find out here soon if it definitely is him, but they're thinking it probably is him because articles were found that, they knew he had. So, on to the next thing. Some new information on the Kurtz case coming out today. Everything's gone crazy in that case too. But as you can see, they think they got him, and that's good. That's real good. Now, I will be back with more. Hold on a minute. Let me check it out. Debbie, you want to say anything? You want to say anything, Deb? Other than blah? No. That's pretty much it. Blah. Bunch of blah, blah. But like I said, new stuff coming out here soon. And I think you're going to be shocked. I think a lot of people are going to be shocked. But, what can you do? We don't live in a perfect world. I know Candace Owens. She's causing a lot of stuff out there. A lot of people you can't stop her. She's on a warpath or something with the Charlie Kurtz case. And then South Park releasing the Charlie Kurtz stuff. And then The Simpsons releasing the and now Charlie Kurtz is a martyr. They made him martyr. It's what's funny is they're doing to Charlie Kurtz what they didn't want to do with Bin Laden. That's why they got rid of Bin Laden's body in the bottom of the sea, was because they didn't want people for him to be a martyr. Right? That's that whole ideology thing. No. And now it's all of a sudden, now they're doing it. Well, they've made him a martyr. Well, that's terrorist stuff. That's what these people do over there. And, they make martyrs out of people or whatever. The only martyr is God or Jesus, the one that died for us. But I don't know. It's getting crazy over there. Who is Candace Owens? Oh, Candace Owens is that little lady that she was in politics or something, and now she got her own podcast or something, and she's going full blown attack. Man. Bless her little heart. Let me see what Debbie's saying. That Trump too. South Park does what they want. Yeah, South Park and the Simpsons. You never heard of Candace Owens? Oh, she's an African American lady. She does a lot of stuff. I think she was in politics or a speaker or something like that or something. She was in some kind of stuff. But she's got her own podcast now. And she's been upset. She's been yelling. She's not happy. Yo, Helen Sunbaum. How you doing? So it's pretty crazy and everything. It's just have your own. We're working on a home defense system for our own homes. A lot of people are trying to offer me money or whatever, but as you can see, it's a device that sits on top of your property and shoots out gamma rays. And so if you get in the middle of the gamma ray, your body will shift, just like you're seeing this video doing. And that's just waves rolling through. You get into that, and it'll cook everything, right? It's just cooking everything, leaves, tree. I mean, it's just cooking everything. But this is something we're working on because we, the people of America, we just don't feel safe. It's just we're spending way too much money on stuff, and we shouldn't be. But I'm going to keep my mouth shut because I don't want to end up like the rest of these martyrs. But Helen, someone says, I just found out that Barack Hussein Obama is allegedly kin to bin Laden. I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. They're saying that Barack Obama, he might run again. I didn't have a problem with Barack Obama at that time when he was running the show. Of course, I lost my house and everything. And that's what big banks will do. They see an opportunity where you ain't in your right frame of mind or whatever, and they'll swoop in, take your property and everything. So all this stuff that these people been pumping out is just a bunch of crap. Justice and all that crap and all the democracy and all that. I don't know. Who knows? Who cares? But you can't even voice your opinion anymore in this world without people attacking you or going crazy. So there's not too much left you can do when a country goes cuckoo. Yeah, it's pretty wild stuff. Like I said, when I seen after Charlie passed away, the reaction of the people in other countries was kind of shocking. What'd you guys do? Right? You woke a sleeping giant. Right? I think that's pretty much what they did. He was against a lot of this stuff, right? The devil stuff, all this crap, and he was against it, and that's probably what he. And what people really don't realize, Charlie was only 30 years old. Half of the stuff that Charlie talked about wasn't even Charlie's stuff. He's just a puppet for somebody else. And that's what people don't realize, right? We can show you that Charlie was just took someone's idea, their ideology, whatever you want to call it, and spoke on it because others wouldn't. And he had enough cojones to do it. And that's what he did. Although it wasn't his, some of the stuff wasn't his belief. Well, that's true. Let me see, Johnny, have you heard of the Folly Surrenders? No, no. No, what's up? Is it a case? They all are puppets. Yes, they're just puppets. Puppet. Puppets. Just puppets. UFO whistleblowers. US puppets is all you are, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Hello, Deborah. Helen, someone. We've been waiting to say hello to you. Well, this idiot's back hacking my computer again. No, well, what can you do? He was in here last night busting chops on me and Debbie. I think they broke in somehow. Oh, there are dumbs. 3 cubic miles in size. That's pretty cool. I think it's probably one of these Summer Wells people or something, or cases that we got too close to the truth. Hacked the computer or watching us or something. Man over U.S. and global. Or many all over U.S. and global. Yeah, it's just crazy. I get dumber every day. Well, dumb is dumb, right? And then there's dumber. Well, who is the dumbest is my question. All right, I think I'm going to end this video because this is a different topic, right? We're doing this Travis thing. I'm dumb as a rock. Yeah, I've had many boxes of rocks, and that's where I kept my brains. So you're all right about that. So I'm probably going to end this. We're going to look for some new stuff. I will be back. Plus, I'm trying to track down. We're trying to track who's coming in with this voice or whatever the heck it is. Who's been watching us? Last night they were busting me and Debbie's cojones, and I think it's all because they're jealous. I do believe they're jealous because I bought some hair serum, and I've been putting it on my head, right, to thicken up my hair. But I also been putting it on my gonads, and it just grew like crazy. It's like an afro. And I was like, check this out. So they're all upset. How'd you get the afro balls? No, it's an ancient Chinese secret, but and people they're jealous of me. I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, I do have a new film festival that we're working on right now called Two Can Chew on These Blankety Bleep Bleeps, which you all will be getting tickets to. I'll be sending them to you in the mail. Rogaine? Yeah, well, this is better. This was for gonad. Well, it's actually for the hair on your head, but I put it on my gonads, and now it's just a bud. It's just like an afro. Keeping it trimmed. I got a pick and everything for it. It's pretty cool. I think I'm going to switch the name to this stuff to Afro Balls. Right? For men. So, cuts for nuts. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Well, of course, I'll need stylists. I'll have to hire some women stylists come in and trim up the gonad nuts, hair and stuff. It looks like an afro. It's shocking. But we're going to end this. I will be back here shortly. We got leaves falling all over the place. Just all over. Thank God I ain't got. I went in front of Congress and Senate. I needed 17 trillion. I told them we were being attacked by all these leaves out here. They just come. They didn't want to give me the money. Well, now look at you got leaves everywhere. Leaves actually swallowing people up. Well, they should. Now they're going. We should have gave them the 17 trillion. You should have gave them. We would have had this lead problem solved by now. I want to thank Helen Someone. Folks, go over there and check out her chat. Helen Someone. She's from London, I do believe it is, where the blokes run wild and the women are just as crazy. So go over there and check their channel out. God bless America. God bless everyone. All glory goes to God. Thanks for another day. We're on our way. I'll be back here shortly. Thank you all for stopping in.